Project Quarantine, Episode 3. This is Madison, and today we are here with Mr. Lynn talking about esports. So starting off, Mr. Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about what esports are?
Hey guys, so thanks for having me. I really appreciate the chance to come on here. Yeah, so esports, this is a growing field now with gaming where instead of just gaming against your friends, in your basement, we're now like bringing the games out to an online community, and we're having these competitions on a larger scale. Just like you would go to a basketball tournament, over a weekend, we're now having these tournaments online where people are competing for prizes and also just for the recognition. You're having, groups of friends play against other groups of friends in specific games, and, just having a really good time building that community and having fun together. So essentially it's just taking a hobby that was once just, sitting in a room alone by yourself and bringing it out on a larger scale with more people and getting a lot of the same benefits that you would get from socializing with people in a room. You're laughing, you're making friends, you're having experiences, and you're using strategy to outmaneuver another team on a digital scale. So definitely a growing and exciting field to be in.
How could esports benefit students?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think you guys are doing you're learning online every day for 6 hours, and that's fantastic. And, there's a lot of great things that come with learning online, a lot of new challenges too. What we're trying to do though is just create a sense of community outside of classes. So really the idea is about staying with that online format, staying safe, but giving students another way to connect besides just a class with a topic that they're studying. So I see this as a way of students maybe who have the hobby where they game at home, having a different community, maybe meeting some different friends that were not already in their classes, or just getting a different way of connecting with students who are in their classes in a different context. So I think gone are the days where video games are something that you do in your basement and like solitary confinement. I mean, these online games now, people are making lifelong friends, and they're maybe physically not in that same space like we would be in when we think about social gatherings, but they're laughing and they're doing a lot of the same things that we do when we socialize in person. So just to answer the question in a short sentence, I think it's just going to give a way to build community and connect with other people in a time where we're so isolated. So that would be my answer to that one.
Hello, Mr. Lynn.
Hi.
Sorry if the audio is bad, but the people want to know, how can we ensure esports does not interfere with students' academics and schoolwork?
So what we're going to do is, like we would with any other sports team, we're going to make sure that we stay in contact with teachers and that teachers know who's on this team and what the involvement is. So just like a basketball or a volleyball or football team or cross country, any other sports team in a school where we would check in with those teachers. We're going to make sure that the teachers know who's on the team, and then also that we have an expectation that academics won't take a second priority to this. So obviously games won't be held, during school hours. We're going to do this outside of school hours, but we also expect that if you're going to participate in this in a school capacity, that you've got to kind of pull your weight in your classes as well. The same way our student athletes do in our brick and mortar schools. So if you're going to be on the basketball team, you can't be failing all of your classes because you're playing basketball all the time. You got to make sure that this is part of a well-balanced program. And I think it's like that with any hobby. You don't want to have a hobby that completely takes over your work responsibilities or your family life. Becoming, a successful adult, as you guys are learning as young adults, you got to find balance. You got to find a way to be there for your kids, your spouse, your partner, your job, but also there for your friends as well. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And if grades start to slip, then we're going to suggest that the student focuses on that before they come back and join us in our gaming team.
Where do you see esports in schools 10 years from now?
I hope this is one of our board's, first pilot programs that really starts to help gain momentum. I know there have been gaming teams. I know Essex District High School had an awesome game room that they started a few years ago, and there was talk at Kennedy as well of getting this rolling. The biggest hindrance, guys, has been, that financial cost of getting gaming computers. So to buy these computers in our school, a decent gaming PC costs a few $1,000s. And so that's kind of been a roadblock for getting these teams up and running in buildings, just having that extra money. But now that we're gaming from home on PlayStations or Xboxes, things that we might have already had at home, if we can kind of twist this into a gaming team that involves, equipment we already have, that's where I see this thing going. So I'm optimistic that we can make this something that taps into the interests that students already have at home. Just take that question a little further, though. I mean, I've been a gamer my whole life. I had a Commodore 64 back in the 80s, one of the earliest gaming systems. Sir might remember those machines way back then. And one of the commercial, and then we had Nintendo, just original versions. So where I see gaming going, guys, is actually super exciting. I think we're seeing virtual reality right now, but that's not even the coolest thing. I think we're going to see augmented reality in 10 years. So instead of putting on, your Oculus Rift where you're looking into a screen, I think we're going to put something on our head. So we're going to be able to see reality that's augmented, like Pokemon Go was a few summers ago. So, imagine playing, paintball or capture the flag in an actual city park where things are produced that are not actually there and superimposed on what is actually there. So I see that as the next sort of frontier of gaming. I'd really like to see this continue with every iteration that gaming becomes. We have something in school that kind of addresses that or brings that into the schools as well in a safe and fun way.
What has been the biggest roadblock in this project?
We haven't hit roadblocks just yet per se, so that's good. And we're just starting, so we'll have to wait and see. I think right now it's going to be logistics. So we have teachers who want to help out with this, which is great. We have a community partner, and their name is One Dream Esports, and they've been super about working with us to get the ideas rolling. They have some great ideas for the next few months. But really, it's going to be a question of just trying to manage. On a typical sports team, on a basketball team, you might have 15 or 20 students that you're managing. Here, we already have about 100 who are interested, which is fantastic. But to be able to kind of wrangle all of that together and organize this so that's fun and it's not frustrating for people, that I'm going to say will be the biggest challenge for us. There's going to be some bumps in the road, there's no question. So when we roll this out, there's going to be some students who it's not for them because maybe it's not the games that they want to play. But really, it's going to be bigger and better, just like the virtual school was. Every month, hopefully, we're going to build on successes and try to learn from mistakes. And it's like that with anything in life. I mean, you start with something, with a new hobby or a new interest, and usually the first few months or years are the most frustrating time, and then eventually you start playing that piano or learning that violin or painting those paintings, and it becomes more fun with some practice. So I think once we get the logistics and the structures figured out and get a few successful tournaments under our belt, this thing will get much more fun to be a part of.
What is the criteria for picking the games you have chosen?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So I know for sure at home we probably play different titles. Some of them may be more violent. Even something like Fortnite, you wouldn't necessarily consider as a violent game, but I think depending on your view of video games, it could be seen as that. And because video games are so new to some people, I think we've got to really take it easy in terms of what we offer through the school. One thing I know for sure is school and violence do not go together in any form or capacity. So we're going to stick to non-violent games, at least till people get comfortable, and then we'll see where it goes. Right now, we've chosen Rocket League and Madden just because they're sports games, they're competitive. You can play with other teammates, which is huge as well. We don't just want this to be single player versus player. We want to have some different options that way. But again, it's going to depend on sort of, public opinion, input from our students, games that people enjoy playing, and then also just people getting comfortable with gaming as a concept who maybe don't have that background. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a bit of an experiment, but it's the competitive aspect. It's the ones that are popular. And then that the team component as well is huge for this.
What future collaborations do you think would happen with esports?
Well, we're already seeing post-secondary places start to get into gaming. So I know St. Clair College has a program that they've been developing for a few years now where they're doing an esports program. I think really corporations out there as well are starting to realize that there's a potential for advertising and sponsorships, the way that they would sponsor, car racers or football teams or whatever. So you're starting to see students, make significant amount, or sorry, I shouldn't say students, I should say young people in and outside of school making significant, amounts of money winning tournaments. So I read a few years ago that a student put himself through university playing Rocket League. He was winning these tournaments. There's students who have won, or young people who have won, tens of thousands of dollars in these major tournaments. So I think collaborations, there's going to be, obviously, corporations are going to want to get their hands in there and advertise and sponsor for those reasons. But I think also, there's going to be more partnerships as people start to realize the potential of gaming, that it's this ability to kind of connect with other people. So I think as it becomes more mainstream, you're going to see bigger and more popular, mainstream people get involved with this as they understand gaming better. I think Jagmeet Singh was playing video games in a tournament a few weeks ago or months ago. He was playing, Among Us, is that it? Yeah. So Jagmeet Singh was playing that one, and you're hearing about politicians kind of get in on the buzz of this. And I think you'll start to see that more and more. You'll see collaborations where known celebrities are finding some common ground with gaming and using that as a platform for other causes as well. So,
how can students get involved?
I think the best way is to try it out. If you have a gaming system at home where you're able to do this, that's going to be the first step. But I think just being involved means just being responsible. So we're going to really expect the students who are involved with this in a school capacity or, behave themselves. They represent their school in a good way, as we would our student athletes. I think really involvement to me just means, following the expectations that we have in this group, and having fun at the same time. Just trying it out. So just going through the list, we have, a lot of guys that are interested in this so far, but it'd be great to see some more girls enter this as well. There's nothing saying that you can't be involved regardless of your background as well. So if you're new to gaming and you want to jump in and try it, that'd be great as well. But just my advice is just to try it out and see if you like it, and you might surprise yourself. It might be something that you weren't really into before, but after you try playing Rocket League a few times, you might really enjoy it.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Lynn. We appreciate your time, and have a good day.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and share the idea, and I'm looking forward to making this work with you.